You're watching WYLN TV 35. Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Julia Wiegand. The recent surge in COVID-19 cases caused Luzerne County officials to put restrictions in place. As of today, the county will be limiting access to county-owned buildings, meaning Penn Place in Wilkes-Barre and the Human Services Building will be closed to the public. The courthouse will be open for essential business, but Acting County Manager Ramilda Crocomo encourages people to use remote options whenever possible. The court system, however, will remain open with the exception of jury trials. All essential employees are reporting to work, but all others will be working remotely for the time being. All visitors will have their temperatures taken and must wear a face mask, regardless of vaccination status. Officials say the restrictions will continue until further notice. A COVID-19 testing site in Wilkes-Barre changed locations due to an overwhelming response from the public. The site at South Main and Hazel Streets was moved to Kirby Park today to better accommodate the demand for testing. The site's a collaborative effort by the Department of Health, Luzerne County EMA, the Wilkes-Barre City Health Department, and AMI. The Kirby Park testing site will be open from 10 to 6 now through Saturday, January 8th. Those seeking testing should enter Kirby Park from Market Street and exit the site onto Northampton Street toward Edwardsville. Motorists not getting tested are being advised to use an alternate route and avoid the area if possible. Wilkes-Barre isn't the only area seeing an increased demand for COVID testing. People are braving the cold to line up at Lehigh Valley Health Network's 140 North Sherman Court testing site in Hazelton. The demand for testing has risen as the Omicron variant surges across the United States. One of the reasons for long lines throughout the area is the limited supply of at-home testing in stores. If you need to get tested for COVID, LVHN's Sherman Court site is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and weekends from 9 to 3. A prescription from your doctor is required for the test, and you can find out more by visiting lvhn.org. A former Hazelton police officer's preliminary hearing was continued in relation to charges stemming from a Schuylkill County burglary. 31-year-old Liddell Hannon was scheduled to appear in court Tuesday for a burglary at 3 Center Street in Clares back on October 28th, but that hearing was continued until February 15th. State police at Frackville filed the case against him and are also charging him with criminal trespass and theft. His arrest came hours after an explosive device was detonated outside of the same apartment on December 21st that damaged nearby buildings and vehicles and sent one man to the hospital. Troopers labeled that ongoing investigation an attempted homicide. Hannon was hired for a patrol position in Hazelton back in 2019 after serving with the U.S. Army. He was suspended without pay and has been in jail unable to post $300,000 bail. A Nanticoke man was locked up after confessing to sending sexually explicit photos of himself to an underage girl. Investigators received a complaint Monday regarding a 26-year-old male having inappropriate contact with a 13-year-old girl. The victim's guardian discovered an ongoing sexually inappropriate conversation with the male, identified as Brandon Joseph Smith, through a routine check of the victim's cell phone. Despite knowing the victim was underage, Smith sent multiple explicit images of his genitals and offered cash and gifts in exchange for nude photos and sexual acts. Smith was charged with felony counts of criminal solicitation of a person less than 16 years of age, statutory sexual assault, corruption of minors, child pornography, and criminal use of a communications facility. He was denied bail after being deemed a danger to the community. Treatment options are available for eligible COVID patients, and WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has more from the Pennsylvania Department of Health.
We've all heard of the symptoms of COVID and how to best protect ourselves. But what happens if you or someone you know contracts the virus? The Pennsylvania Department of Health talks about treatment options available for eligible residents. Currently, there are 2 types of products used for treatment. One is monoclonal antibodies.
Monoclonal antibodies target the spike protein on the outside of the virus, and they need to be given as a injection or an infusion. They're very similar, and monoclonal antibodies are very similar to the antibodies our bodies would make after any vaccination we receive. Antibodies are one of the main ways our bodies help fight infection, help prevent us from getting sick.
The second type of treatment is oral antivirals.
Oral antivirals are really similar to antibiotics, which a lot of us are familiar with. Antibiotics kill bacteria. These oral antivirals kill the virus, and they don't rely on any help from your immune system. They do appear, both the monoclonals and the oral antivirals need to be given very early in the illness, within 5 days or so at best, because we know they seem to be working much better the earlier we start these treatments for you.
Infectious disease doctor Pablo Tebas explains how the treatments are used.
Monoclonal antibodies work better the earlier in the infection. So when your immune system has not made antibodies against the virus. And that's intuitive. So they work well for outpatients. When they have been tested in inpatient setting, they do not work that well, although we use them sometimes in immunosuppressed patients. But monoclonal antibodies is basically an outpatient treatment, is the way of thinking about monoclonal antibodies.
Pfizer's Paxlovid pill has recently been approved by use by federal regulators.
Paxlovid is actually 2 medications called protease inhibitors that are combined together. You take them together. Protease inhibitors really work to disrupt the virus's ability to produce new virus particles or to make new virus pieces. So by preventing the assembly or the creation of new virus particles, the virus can't spread throughout the rest of your body.
To find out if you're eligible for treatment, first talk to your healthcare provider. For more information or to find out where you can receive treatment, visit health.pa.gov. Reporting for Wyln News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
Thank you, Julie. Hazelton Rotarians met earlier this afternoon to kick off their first meeting of the new year. Wyln's Mackenzie Ocker was there and has the details.
The Hazelton Rotary Club held their first meeting of the new year. President Jason Brenner touched upon the club's events for this year.
So yeah, we have a number of things that we're preparing for the new year. A number of community projects that we're going to be doing. We'll of course be starting the planning on our beer and wine festival for August again, and we have a gala coming up in March. But generally speaking, we're going to focus on making sure that we take care of the community.
The first speaker was Trooper Anthony Petrosky, where he spoke about credit card fraud and how to look out for scams. Along with their events, the club also has upcoming projects.
We have a number of service projects and stuff that are coming up. We have a park project that we're going to be starting here once spring comes along, and then we have a number of just community-based awards that we'll be giving out to various folks.
The club is always looking for new people to join and get involved.
We're always looking for new members. So you can go to our website, it's hazeltonrotary.org, and you can contact any one of our board members or officers. You can also go to our Facebook page, it's Hazelton Rotary, and reach out by Facebook. You can call us, you can email us, talk to any other Rotarian if you happen to know one in the community, but certainly we'll welcome just about anybody with open arms.
If you are interested in joining the Rotary Club, head to hazeltonrotary.org. Reporting in Hazelton for Wyln News, I'm Mackenzie Ocker.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Project Santa, Hazelton to Kentucky, is complete. We Are Hazelton organized a drive where the community came out to donate items that filled a 53-foot-long trailer for tornado victims in Kentucky. The Van Hoekelen Greenhouse's trailer arrived in Kentucky on Tuesday, full of toys, cleaning supplies, and non-perishable food items, which will be handed out to people affected by the December storms. Organizer Tony Colombo previously stated that Hazelton has heart, and this effort proved just that. Coming up on Wyln News, Trump scraps his press conference, plus more fraudsters to be on the lookout for. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hey, do you want to go to Snowman? It's going to snow lots tomorrow. Thank you.
want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hey guys, tune in this week to Let's Talk Chiropractic. Brittany and Dr. Alex, she has had multiple problems. She fell 15 years ago and fractured her hip, slept on her stomach for 34 years, and everything's getting better. Tune in, let's see what her life is like.
Former President Donald Trump scrapped a news conference planned for Thursday's one-year anniversary of the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. In a statement, Trump blamed the cancellation on the House Select Committee charged with investigating the Capitol riot. He said he'd instead touch on many of the themes he planned to discuss at the news conference during a rally in Arizona set for January 15th. Trump planned to use the news conference in Palm Beach, Florida, as counter-programming for a scheduled prayer service at the Capitol to commemorate the events of January 6, 2021. Fraudster schemes to steal unemployment compensation benefits are becoming more aggressive and sophisticated. Fraudsters were initially targeting the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program by using stolen identities obtained from data breaches outside state government to submit illegitimate claims. However, an examination is underway to determine the source of recent attacks on traditional UC and the precise methods being used to intercept legitimate UC payments. The Department of Labor and Industry wants individuals to remain vigilant, guarding their personal and confidential information, and to monitor for signs that theirs might be being used fraudulently. One very lucky Lackawanna County resident is $3 million richer thanks to a winning Monopoly 100 scratch-off. The winning ticket was sold at the Fast Lane Mart in Taylor, and the store will receive a hefty $10,000 bonus for selling the ticket. Scratch-off prizes expire 1 year from the game's end sale date, posted at palottery.com. Winners should immediately sign the back of their ticket and call 1-800-692-7481. Coming up on Finneyville's News Choice, we learn how to avoid cold weather trauma on this Wellness Wednesday. Plus, leading the way, Part 3. Stay with us.
Penn State Hazelton is improving the lives of others, starting in our community.
Providing degrees that meet the needs of the area.
Fueling entrepreneurship and contributing more than $36 million annually to the state's economy.
Researching the health of our local ecosystem on the Susquehanna River.
Together, our impact keeps growing, backed by the strength of 24 campuses and 700,000 alumni.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Soul Spacemen on Wyln TV 35. Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 4, Sundays at 9.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazelton.
Have you ever experienced that super pushy salesperson who follows you all around? Not here.
Or wandered around that big box store looking for help in the appliance department, only to find the pink guy? Not here.
And we have an experienced, courteous sales staff here to help you find the perfect mattress, piece of furniture, or appliance with no pressure.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
You always get a feel-good shopping experience at Grand Central in Hazelton.
If you're looking for an affordable pre-owned car or truck, Chura's Auto Sales has a great lineup of clean, dependable, and quality vehicles. Stop in 610 North Broad Street, West Hazelton, 570-454-7229.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the midday WYLN News update, posted between noon and 2 p.m. Powered by Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazelton, the all-new emergency room at Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazelton is nearly double the size. Our updated facility features all private rooms, the latest technology, and a quicker, easier check-in process. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazelton, your partner in ER care.
Welcome to another edition of Wellness Wednesday here on WYLN. I'm Julia Wiegand, and we are back again with Dr. Kira Weaver to talk a little bit about that cold weather and specifically how to avoid trauma in colder weather. Now, Dr. Weaver, there are tons of things that we could list. I guess we'll just list some of them. What are some of the most common or most severe things that you see in trauma when it comes to cold weather in terms of accidents involving sports, accidents involving cleaning up snow, things of that nature?
Okay, so probably the most common two things that come to mind off the bat are falls and car accidents, due to snow, ice, those weather conditions. So obviously, doing things like making sure that, ice is melted in front of your house, snow removal is done properly, caution when driving in bad weather. Those are important things that we have to, keep in mind with the weather, like being nice and slow and things like that to, make sure that you decrease those risks because it heightens at this time of year. Other things that we think about with cold weather injuries, snow blowers. So like people using snow blowers, not turning the snow blower off to examine it, basically if they have a malfunction, can lead to amputation of fingers. So, kind of like with lawnmower safety in the spring, and, make sure that the machine is off before you examine it to see if it's broken or not. With regards to sports, we see like skiing, snowboarding, sledding action. So if you're participating in winter sports, and it's great to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, make sure helmet use is a big thing. That's probably the most important thing if you're getting on skis or a snowboard. Head injuries can occur if you fall. So you definitely want to protect your head and make sure you're dressed appropriately for the weather, with a proper like snow pants on, snow coat, gloves, things like that to prevent hypothermia, frostbite. Also provide some extra padding too if you do fall in the snow. And then the other thing would be like, snow shoveling incidents with like heart attacks, things like that, being careful with like moving snow. That tends to go up at this time of year as well.
Now, I know it's funny to ask a question like how to avoid these things because obviously it's like, don't do them, right? But in terms of, I guess we'll start with snow shoveling.
You can't predict who's going to be at risk. Someone young can have a heart attack, someone old, but things to think about is like if you do have a lot of medical conditions, it probably is best to see if there's someone that can help or that you have someone maybe even hired to help with those things instead of yourself. If you have to do snow shoveling yourself, taking like frequent breaks, making sure that you're not lifting like heavy loads of snow, hydration, things like that are important. If you start having chest pain, obviously you want to seek medical care immediately. Other things like regarding like the car accidents, okay, or the falls. So like car accidents, particularly in the winter, make sure that you're prepared, like, for the weather. And that's not just like, starting like leaving early and taking your time. Those are important things too, but make sure that you have a blanket in your car, maybe some extra warm clothing in case you get stopped, extra like, snow shovel, things like that to kind of help, snacks. Sometimes it's hard to keep fluids in your car because they can get frozen, but if you're traveling, maybe you want to take a water bottle with you just in case you get stranded or stuck for a period of time. Regarding falls, obviously clearing stairs properly, using ice melt, using handrails, taking your time, watching those sidewalks, being really careful with those things may decrease that risk as well.
And I don't know if it classifies per se as trauma, but I was thinking, I just kind of came up with this now. So we think about dehydration in warm weather, but we really don't consider the dehydration that can occur in the cold weather, because obviously you're not sweating as much, but that's almost a bad thing. So how often do you see people dehydrated in trauma?
So that's actually pretty frequent in general, no matter the weather. They do recommend that if you are participating in winter sports or exercising outdoors in the weather, you should hydrate like before you participate in those activities and after. And that's why it's important, like when I was talking about, like in a previous segment, about like wearing like moisture wicking clothes and things like that if you're exercising outside. That's important too, because you don't want to have all that moisture trapped in there, because that's just going to put you at risk for hypothermia. It's going to keep you cooler, wet. Wet clothes are not good. It does not mix with winter weather with the cold.
All right, thank you so much for squeezing us in again today to talk about trauma in that cold weather. And thank you everybody watching out there. Remember, follow these tips if you're going to participate in winter sports, if you're going to clear off your driveway, if you are getting into a vehicle, and everything that has to do with cold weather. Be sure to stay safe in it so you can enjoy it as much as you can. That's it for this Wellness Wednesday. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond Contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
When emergency strikes, trust your care to the all-new ER at Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazelton. With a facility that's now twice the size. Experienced nurses who see you right away. A quick assessment process makes sure you get the care you need. Advanced technology on site. Safe, private treatment rooms, and a peace of mind that only this level of care can bring. When it matters most, trust your partner in emergency care. Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazelton.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. WYLN CA35's children's programming is designed with the specific purpose of serving the educational and informational needs of children. In compliance with FCC guidelines, a copy of the Children's Programming Report is on file for public inspection at WYLN 1057 East 10th Street in Hazelton, Pennsylvania during normal business hours. To view the report online, visit fcc.org.
WYLN's going behind the scenes to learn more about the lives and goals of our local leaders. So, Jim Perry's leading the way again into part 3 of this week's series.
And welcome back to this week's Leading the Way with Jim Perry. So for those who may not know, could you tell us a little bit about, at least from your perspective, the role of a city councilor?
Well, city council right now is this legislative body. It's a little bit more than that. I mean, we really deal with the budget, and then, you know, obviously that's our big thing, ordinances and resolutions. And we only get into the nitty-gritty when somebody calls us and with some complaints. We can transfer, we can connect them whoever we want to connect them to, whatever they need to be talking to. Kind of assisting the mayor and assisting anybody who needs help in the city, directing them or so we try not to be, again, that's the mayor. The mayor's job is to take care of the city and the day-to-day operations. We're there as a legislator, and we're, I think, more now than ever in my, you know, as I've been here, we've been more involved in what's going on in the city, trying to be part of it to help make solutions to problems and then make it easier to get things passed and understand them, work sessions, working with the community, trying to get them to understand what we're trying to do. It's all to benefit them. I mean, that's the key. We're trying to benefit the community as it's changing and evolving, and that's what we would try to do. So updating our code, all those kind of things. So, and I've seen a great deal of progress through this process, absolutely. Even from this term here. And I've seen it from the last term. We're now dealing with positive things happening. We're not borrowing money to cover past debts. We're borrowing money to buy things and do things for the city.
And so with that job, kind of walk us through the process. Any kind of simple task or things that need to get done. Somebody comes to you, would approach you, call you, contact you?
Yes,
and say,
absolutely. We get a lot of contacts with, you know, for example, a code. I just said actually a former school board member, she contacted me. It was a while ago now. It took a while, but, you know, the neighbor's trees falling in the yard, it was owned by somebody else. And so, and what we did is I tried to contact her with Diane, our new code officer, and boy, she, in the last couple days, she took care of that. She called, she got, and so the resident called me and said, thank you so much for doing that. She as we were talking, she got the owner, took pictures and said, you got to be responsible for the trees. And so just kind of being the in-between person to help out and make things smoother for people. That's really what I think is beneficial for me. I just enjoy that, to help people and give an answer. They don't want to be pushed off, they want an answer, or direct them somewhere, or get an answer for them, whether it's a stop sign, the process going on with that, or get in contact, you know, with the police chief. We've got some things going on, and so just directing me wherever I have to, or street department, wherever there's a problem there. So I think it's a lot of communication and trying to direct them in the right way. So
absolutely.
And again, like I said, we've done a lot of positive things going on in the city, and I think that's something that people need to be aware of, that we're growing, but there's a lot of things happening around us.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Check back tomorrow night as Jim Perry continues leading the way into part 4 of this week's segment. Good night.
And that's the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest on our Facebook page, YouTube page, or at WYLNTV.com. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next, right here on WYLN TV.